morning, everybody. Happy New Week. We have just returned from our 27th Ultimate 48 Hours of the Retreat. You can tell my voice is gone from all the singing and dancing and hosting and everything else that happened. But I'm here. I have been to my personal training session this morning. I am ready to rock and roll with this half an hour live with Nat, which is a continuation on the one that I started last week, because I didn't realize I had so much to say. So I thought, why not give it justice and actually do it properly? And behind me, I haven't had a chance to put up my media wall as I've been unpacking from retreat. So I thought, why not put up the love hearts, as this past weekend the theme was love, and we were taking lots of photos with these love hearts and ended up bringing a few of them back home. So before I begin the official part of this, I'm just going to do my shares in the groups that we go live with Nat, and then we're going to get started with the content and the continuation. So I'll do a summary on what we covered off last week, and then we're going to continue on with this for this week. All right, so I'm just going to share this across to my groups where it needs to go. Into Author Your Way to Riches. Here we go. Oh, and one more share. Let me know how your weekend was. What did you get up to this weekend? Was it busy or relaxed? I always feel like I do end up doing 2 weeks in a row when it's retreat weekend, because it only finished yesterday. But I did have my 13-hour sleep. I went to bed. Well, I fell asleep a couple of times at 5:30 and 6, and then decided to go bed at 7 till 7 this morning. So I feel all refreshed and ready to go for the week. Okay, so I'm just going to summarize, guys, what we covered off last week, because it was part 1. And we started off talking about the different stages of growth in business. There are 4 stages. We talked about the startup phase, or infancy phase, if you like, which is where the business is at around $0 to $25,000. Then we talked about the adolescence phase, or the growth phase, where the business grows from $25,000 to about $200,000. Then we talked about the maturity or adulthood phase, or the scalability phase, which is at about $200,000 to $2 million. And then we talked about the wisdom stage, or the contribution phase, which is over $2 million. So this morning we covered off all the different actions. Hey sis, hope you had a great 3-day at your end, as we certainly did at our end. So this morning we're going to talk a little bit about, we're going to continue on halfway. We stopped halfway through stage 2 last week. So if you didn't catch it, really do, because there was a lot of people messaging me and sending me requests for the written content. So I actually have 2 pages of dot points of what I'm talking about and what I'm expanding on around this particular topic. So if you want a copy of that, just private message me and I can do send it through to you. All right, so we covered off the actions you should be taking in the infancy or the startup phase last week. We started on the actions on the growth or adolescence phase. So now I'm going to do, what I'm going to do now is continue on, because the growth and adolescence phase has the biggest amount of to-dos. Because you're really, I guess getting, the rocket has gotten off the ground, but it still needs a lot of energy to reach the scalability phase. Okay, so we talked about, so I'm just going to cover off some of the points we covered off in stage 2, the adolescence phase, and I'll continue on from that. So we talked about niching. So in the startup phase, you might be everything to everyone, figuring out who you serve. But in the growth phase, you've monetized some part of your business. You've at least made $25,000. So you should know really where you're going. Hey, Nat, great to see you as well on the call. Okay, so you niche. Who are your core customers? and how do you define them? The next thing was learn the art of value creation in any situation with your prospects. So about how you speak to different people depending on who they are, and how do you extract the value in what you do to that particular sales conversation, and knowing and learning the art of high sales with integrity. So I went through a lot of this in detail last week, so I'm not going to go through. I'm just summarizing now. Learn the art of relationship building and how powerful relationship building is. Actually, just over this weekend, because I'm so focused on my relationship long term, and I'm focused on quality over quantity in my business. I had someone who has known me from the moment I started a business 10 years ago, and she has now decided to become a client. So you can sometimes, all the effort that you put in relationship building doesn't immediately reap rewards, but if you're consistent and if you nurture people and if you stay in touch and you continue to add value, then you will see things come through from areas you thought, oh my God, how did this just happen magically? But it's not magic. It really does take a lot of nurturing and being there and being and showing up, being consistent. So let's continue on. Now, the next point was build your email database with your unique products, okay? Products and prospects, sorry. So build, if you haven't started, like at a startup phase, a lot of businesses may not even know what a customer relationship management system is, but certainly at the growth phase, you should be, if you've been keeping things on a Excel spreadsheet, then, hey, Amp, great to see all my people from, all these relationships that I've built over the period of time. Like Amp is like seriously one of the people that I met in Sydney. He used to live in Sydney, and I don't know if you're still there. I think maybe you're on the Gold Coast. But yeah, we've known each other probably for a good 7 years now, and through the power of Facebook and catching up face to face and all that sort of stuff. So build your email database, get onto a proper customer relationship management program, and start importing your prospects in there, but certainly also starting to set up, autoresponder emails, regular communication, so your people who need the solution to the problem that you're providing get nurtured. Not everyone's going to be ready to do business from you with you immediately. So just you need to be there and you need to be present. And as long as you're adding value and stay top of mind with people, your business will see growth and new clients come in. Now, the following one is nurture your leads with compelling offers. So as you are releasing valuable content, start practicing and testing different compelling offers that are really triggering or pinpointing the hot points, pain points of your ideal prospects, and seeing where you're getting results. Because as you're testing and measuring all of this, what you're getting ready for is the scalability phase of your business. Because when you get to the scalability phase, you generally have found the really hot, compelling offers that really work for you. And they're the ones you just have to, I guess, invest a lot of paid advertising, because if you want to scale, you will need to get into paid advertising, but you know that they're the things that really work. So this phase, being the growth phase, you are testing a lot of compelling offers and seeing what gets taken. And this is where a lot of people during this phase can feel quite overwhelmed, because they might have and be putting out lots of offers out there, but that's the right place to be, because how the hell are you going to know which one of your offers is really going to take off, people will snap it up like hotcakes. So it's really important to test, to use those hypnotic language and wording, and to hear and ask your clients exactly what they want from you. And as you're nurturing people in your database, in most of your emails, not every single one of them do you need to have calls to action, but you can make a very subtle call to action in the PS of the body of your email. When you also, a hot tip around emailing your prospects, one of the most important things that is going to get your email open is the subject line. So if you haven't learned that before, remember, hypnotic language, curiosity-driven subject lines are always going to be the ones that are going to get open the most, and you're going to get the most response out of those. All right, so the following one is connect with leaders and find out what they need in their business and how you can support them. So this is where, you know, I don't know if Francesca's still on the call, but Francesca and I often say to people, you know, when you go to an event, who do you connect with? And she teaches her audience, and I certainly back this up, but you connect with the organizer and you connect with the speaker, because those are the people of influence at that particular event. And you look for ways of how you can help them, right? So it's not about getting something from them. Initially in this growth phase is about nurturing and building the relationships with those people of influence and showing your support for what they do, because it's a giver's gain. If they see you willingly give your time and your your expertise or whatever way you're going to help them, in return, that they'll want to help you. There's going to be a bond and a relationship being built. It doesn't happen overnight. You need to turn up to places and be helpful to these people on multiple occasions, and the relationship will naturally evolve. And what happens when you're connected and you have that close bond with influential people? Well, they'll certainly want to do stuff for you when the right time to ask or seek support from them comes. So this is something that we've been doing like since day one, and whenever I am, wherever I would go, I would always turn up earlier, to not uncomfortably early, but turn up earlier to see if anyone needed a hand, setting up the venue, just anything that I could do, so that I would build that close bond with those people. Now, following one is look for speaking opportunities as much as possible. So this stage of your business, being the adolescent stage between $25,000 to $200,000, you should be saying yes to everything. Absolutely everything. And certainly 2015, I think it was my year where I set this goal that I was going to speak at 100 events. Okay. And whether those events, so it could have been a mix of my own events and guest speaker and others. So it had to be a combination of 100 events. And certainly I did. I actually think I created at the end of the year this video. I think if you Google it on YouTube, 100 events, Natasha Denman, it'll come up and it shows like the whole year of what we did. And you would notice that not every single one of those events was massive. Some of them I'm speaking like in front of 2 or 3 people, but certainly I fulfilled that number. And I believe that if you say yes and you speak to a lot of places, that's where not only is it about, hey, getting sales or conversions or, expanding your business one-to-many, but it builds your confidence and it builds your clarity and ability to externalize what you are an expert in, and keep saying your stuff, because you get better and better at it. And I can tell you, when I reflected back on those 100 events, were they all good for business? No, but were they all good for me and the publicity, that the exposure, the things that I created from them? Absolutely. For my personal development, that was something that I would never take back. So then the following years, I still continued on. There was a period of 2 or 3 years that I just spoke everywhere and I went everywhere. The last 2 years I have been very selective, because we are, very close, moving from the scalability phase even to the 4th stage, which is the wisdom contribution stage of the business. So we're right on that cusp between the two, and certainly I need to be selective in order to be able to serve the people that are my clients. So I'm busier servicing and being and creating more systems in the business over needing to generate that publicity and top of mind, and build the business awareness, I guess, in the marketplace, because that's been more established now. So that's a big one, and I've kind of put an asterisk next to it. They look for speaking opportunities as much as possible. Following one is connect with individuals who run big groups and events. Yep, to know how you can add value to their groups. So this goes back to connect with leaders and connectors. I think those 2 points are all very, very similar. So invest in microsites. So what's a microsite and small scale marketing? Well, microsites are landing pages. Morning, Beck. Landing pages, blogs, giveaways. So things like that, which is not like building a full-blown website, but something where you can attract leads, and maybe you can trial a little bit of paid advertising to see how your compelling offers fare. So start mucking around with those. The recommendation would be ClickFunnels would be a great platform to invest in, because I believe ClickFunnels you will end up using throughout your scalability and your wisdom contribution stage later on. We certainly have. There is lead pages as well. However, I believe ClickFunnels is the front leader for this kind of stuff, and it has a lot, it's widely used by the most famous entrepreneurs out there. Good morning, Amy, to you as well. All right, so create a system for delivering your products and services. So we're still here at the growth or adolescence phase, between $25,000 to $200,000 in your business. So you need to be documenting and writing everything that you're doing. I remember when I started doing this in, I think it was the start of my third year, end of my second year, third year, and my mentor, Peter, said to me, Nat, everything that you do in your business, like you've obviously been doing it now for a couple of years, he goes, write down everything you do with clients. What do you do in session 1? What do you do in session 2? How do you find that client? All of that. And I kind of decided to set aside 2 hours every week and just document some of the stuff that I was doing. And I just filed it away in a folder on my computer and didn't think too much of it until I was prompted and asked by a few people around when I was networking, we love what you do. I would love to know how you do it. And this is where that licensing model was developed, because I had already pre-written so much of my systems, if you like, that when I was ready to make the manuals for it and all that, I actually didn't have to spend a ton of time, because it was just compiling and cutting and pasting and reorganizing and creating some manuals, which is what launched that licensed opportunity for ultimate weight loss, lose the last 10 kilos. So, creating a system for how you deliver your products and services will ultimately also be able to be replicated by other people, or people that you're going to employ to do it on your behalf. Because when you're at the scalability phase of your business, you are going to need more people to support you and to be able to, do what you do in a similar, if not the same way. All right, next number. There's no number. There's another dot point. Create scalable processes and product strategy for the next stage. So this is links up. So the first one, the previous one, is more about how you deliver your products and services. The following one, scalable processes and product strategy for the next stage, is what are the processes that you go through, because they're the ones that you're going to give to a virtual assistant or to your own personal assistant or whoever is going to be part of the business. What are those processes that you repeatedly do? You're holding them up in your head. So you're getting stuff now from your head onto systemized screenshot videos. And I've talked about how to create systems a few different ways. I think that was like a few 4 or 5 weeks back. I think I did a live on that one. So it's really, really, really important, because holding it up there, it just creates, I think, overwhelm and inconsistency more so. If you're holding it all up there, you're probably not doing it exactly the same every single time when a client comes on board. So it's really important that you create your own systems. Now, the use of asana.com, asana.com, can be really helpful for project management of what are the steps that you take with onboarding your clients, with hosting an event, with follow-up after speaking gigs, all that kind of stuff. You can actually set it up, and because if you're the only person in your business, you can just allocate the tasks all to yourself. As your business grows, you will allocate the tasks to the other people who are responsible for different stuff in the business. So really, really, really important. Following one is invest in marketing and credibility building opportunities. Okay, so start, you're still out there really building up a lot of awareness of who you are and what your brand is. So what are other marketing opportunities? Are there some expos that you can be part of? Is there other credibility, like publicity. You need to learn a little bit more about publicity and do it for yourself, and put yourself out there. Sponsoring certain events. You don't, sponsorships. People can think that it can be that are super expensive, but there are sponsorships of some events that can be replaced. You might provide a service or a product versus money. So there's different opportunities to look for. But I think even small business expos and those kind of things would work really, really well. So you're really, really getting out there and being seen and being heard by people. And of course, yes, you're adding value through social media and continuing to connect with your audience. And those that love what you do will follow you, and you will start to get that consistency and continue this growth phase of your business. Next one is learn to sell from webinars, stages, and video promos. Webinars are a great way to be able to host an event without physically going out there, although I'm a big fan of the offline event model over webinars, but I know that there are many experts out there that monetize webinars so much. At this stage of the business, I also used to do a lot of webinar swaps. So webinar swaps are when you host or deliver your expertise for someone else's database, and an hour later, they deliver their expertise to your database. So if you're at this growth phase, you might have a big enough now database to start being able to have that value back. And this is where you can start continuing to grow your database, but be learning how to sell from webinars. Certainly recommend that you do a few of your own before you start doing webinar swaps, because it's a webinar swaps, that you want to make sure that you really, really are going to make the other person who's letting you speak to their people from the database, you're going to make them look good. So do a lot of practice on your own. Who cares if only 2 or 3 people come, because a lot of the time on a webinar style platform, no one can actually tell how many people are on that particular webinar, the numbers. Some do, some don't. So just pretend like there are hundreds of people there, and even if you have to pre-write some questions and all that you can ask from the audience, there's some little tips and tricks that you could do in that regard, so that it feels like interactive, and at the end of the day, you know what, you get a recording, you can record your webinar, and it could be a valuable piece of content that you can add to your membership area. And so every time you're doing something, think about, am I recording this? Should I be recording this? Could I then compile all of these amazing videos and footage that could add value? And when I am presenting my high value offer, that people get these as bonuses and all that kind of stuff. So really, really think always when you're doing something, is there another purpose for this later on? Because something that I have always done throughout the business is I've never kind of almost sat down and now I'm going to create this online course. Now I'm going to create these videos and blah, blah, blah. I've just hosted events, filmed them, hosted webinars, recorded them, and uploaded, and have those things available to my clients. All right, so following one is build your team for design, marketing, and event needs. So usually, by this stage, you are needing to look consistent and on brand all of the time. So therefore, it's really important to have someone who is going to be someone who knows you well and that you can go back to, because as time goes on, it's not just that you need your business cards, your pull-up banner, and 2 or 3 other things that you think are the core foundational things to have for your business. You are going to need different flyers, product sheets, and all that kind of stuff. And if you really want to look highly professional, it's good to have someone that you've gotten to know and they've gotten to know you, so that you can consistently use them. We have been using a designer for the last 5 years, and certainly I've had my virtual assistant for more than 4 years, which is where she supports me with all of my event needs, and Stuart obviously is more in the marketing space. So you slowly start to think of how you are going to allocate the different tasks and jobs, because you can't do absolutely everything. You think you can at the beginning, but neither should you want to do absolutely everything in the business, because other people who are better at it can do a better job, and you can and then they become part of your team. Whether they become part of your in-house team or it's someone that you regularly go to, it doesn't matter. And usually I would say small business owners would have not someone full-time employed by their team to add in this stage. It'll be other people who are working on project by project, or maybe on a retainer or something like that. So there's that one. All right, we've got a couple of things. I've got to go on page number 2 of this one. Okay, a couple of things left, and then we're going to touch on the scalability and the adulthood phase. And as I said, I knew this was going to take 3 weeks, so next Monday we're going to finish it off and finish the adulthood, and last one, the contribution phase, which is beyond $2 million. Okay, so I provide ongoing value via blogs and giveaways. So at this stage, you are pretty much, not only are you looking to speak everywhere, you're writing blogs, or you're recording vlogs, you're doing live streams, and any special giveaways that you can create. So you really are turning up and serving your audience, so that they know they're building that trust, know, and like, because you're in a growth phase. So you are wanting to attract a volume of clients to be able to then transition into the scalability or the adulthood phase, which is beyond $200,000 in revenue to $2 million. And last of all, consider in this stage, and it's not absolutely necessary, but a full-scale website can be useful. But if you have actually learnt the art of value creation, you would have so many referral clients who are paying you that premium price that you can go even without it. And even to this day, and I think I said it last week, I don't rely or even send people to my full-blown website. I meet people, I talk to people, I run my events, and my website is just there if someone wants to stalk me, right? Or, you know, I really, really rarely ever think, because I'm not sending traffic there myself. It's however else it's search engine optimized. But I seriously believe that however we turn up, and how we create our value of what we do, and communicate to people why we do it, and of course how we do it, then that is the stuff that will attract people. And then of course word of mouth and referrals and your networking and speaking, all of that should be bringing you you know, enough business. The website should always be, certainly you need a website, but it's not the be all and end all of a business, because people work with people, and they'd rather get to know you first. So that's that. I think I better keep it clean now and stop at this the end of this phase. So next week, guys, we're going to talk about the scalability phase, which is between $200,000 to $2 million, and then the wisdom phase, which in the contribution phase, which is beyond $2 million in the business. And we'll be able to close this series of stages of growth in business and the actions that you should be taking as a result of it. We have officially finished our last event, which was our retreat yesterday with the love theme. And today, actually, if you didn't know, and you're one of those people who did purchase my 2020 planner, it starts today. How awesome is that? 25th of November is the first day. There it is, 25th of November. I've basically put the other one at rest, and I'm starting to use my new one, which is nice, finally not having to carry around two. So if you don't have one of these planners, go and grab one from our website, writeabook.com.au, from the shop page. And we don't have the little ones. Actually, I've got 3 or 4 of the small black ones, but the big A4s, there's like about 30 or 40 left of pink, and black's got only about 7. So there you go. That's it for today. And from me, after one more live, I get to rest my voice and recover. And in 2 weeks' time, we're going to America for White Christmas. So you've got me for a couple of more Mondays, and then we're going to have our end of year break and restart fresh and all excited for 2020. Have a wonderful week, everyone, and smash it out.